What is up, PreMed stars? Dr. Dale, the author of How to Raise a Doctor and the author of PreMed Mondays. And of course, you are listening to the PreMed Mondays Mentoring Podcast. Excited again about this week because we're talking about something that is absolutely essential to success, and that is discipline. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room, but you want to be the most disciplined guy or gal. Check it out. Happy Monday, PreMed Star. I'm glad to be back on the mic with you this week. It's funny. It feels like family. Every time I get on the mic, I feel like I'm talking to you guys, and you guys are sitting right here with me. Had a good weekend. Had the opportunity to go down to AAMC conference this weekend, speak with some Premedical students, and opportunity to meet some of you guys who are actually on PreMed Star. So it's pretty cool. You guys being there and doing everything you can for the sake of your premedical and medical future, and actually going out there, meeting people, networking, and doing the right things. But it was some of it was eye-opening. You know, really, I kind of know what questions you guys are going to ask, right? So premeds tend to always ask the same questions. So I sat on the panel and we talked about some stuff that dealt with how students get into medical school, the admissions process. And, you know, for the most part, I know what you guys are going to ask, right? I've been doing this stuff for mentoring for 15 years or so now. And, you know, PreMed Star, you guys send me questions all the time. So I know what PreMeds wants to know. But there was an extreme focus on this idea as to how do you paint the picture of yourself when you're applying to medical school. The questions that people kept on asking all kind of dealt with this whole idea of how do I show schools who I am? How do I have a common thread? So Kip Morgan, who's one of our PreMed Star members, it was good seeing you there, Kip. Kip's one of the students who stood up and boldly asked a question, stated his name, and I heard the name. I said, I know Kip. But, you know, Kip had this great question as I'm going through my applications, I'm putting my application together. How do I make this common thread, this theme, so people understand who I am when they're applying? And those are great questions. And those are things that I think we'll spend some time to address, because we always talk about all the same questions that always come through. But I was really impressed with this whole idea. People were really saying, how do I tell my narrative in this application? I thought that was pretty cool. So we can address that. We can give you guys some tips about that as well. So other thing is the website. I've got some great feedback from you guys, and thank you for sending the feedback. If you haven't checked out the new website, go check it out. Tell me what you think. Send me a message and let me know what could be made better, what you like better in the old one. And, you know, we invested a lot of time, energy, and money, of course, into rebuilding this whole website for you guys. And I personally think it's a lot better. And the students who have sent me messages also think it's a lot better. And we're constantly doing things. We're going to keep on making it better for you guys. So definitely give us your feedback. We are here to help you guys accomplish your goals. All right. So it is going to be another great week. It's going to be a great week. It's Monday morning. You're happiest Monday morning. I'm happiest Monday morning. That means we have a full 5 days in front of us to go out there and knock out challenges, go out there and make ourselves better, go out there and just really grind it out, grind goals, reasons, information, networking, discipline, right? So 5 days of that ahead of us. Okay. Let's make it happen and let's get it. Okay. So this week we're talking about this idea of discipline. Discipline. I'll tell you, I still get asked the question, but before, I feel as though I used to get asked more, what do I need to do to get into medical school? What's the secret sauce? What's that one thing you got to have to get into medical school? And I always tell people there's no magic button. There's no one thing you can do, but the general concept in terms of what you want to have to get into medical school is being a disciplined individual. That's a general concept. You know, people say, hey, Dr. Dale, am I smart enough to get into medical school? Well, you don't have to be the smartest person, but you need to be disciplined. I put a video up. Actually, let me take a step back. Even before the video, I wrote a blog several years ago. Goodness gracious, probably like 6, 7, 8, maybe 8. Oh, wow, probably 8 years ago now, almost 7 or 8 years ago. I wrote a blog, and it's called "Are You Disciplined Enough to Be a Doctor?" Or no, "Are You Smart Enough to Be a Doctor?" I think it's actually on PreMed Star. It might be one of the first earlier blogs we had on PreMed Star also. And, you know, got tons of feedback. And I put a video on YouTube. Same thing. Are you smart enough to be a doctor? And I just do a short little interview session to just answer the question. And, you know, people just eat that stuff up, because once you guys understand this concept about, hey, I don't have to be the smartest guy or gal to become a doctor, once you actually get that concept and realize it's not all about intellect, it's a whole lot more about discipline. Once you get that concept, boom, that opens up so many doors for you. It's like the veil is unlifted and things just start to make sense. When you get this idea of hard work, practice, discipline, when you get that idea, you realize, man, nothing can stand in my way, right? So when I talk to people, I really try to encourage them to do things that are going to help them be disciplined. One of the biggest pieces of advice I always give students, people, and anybody in general is find good books and read good books, okay? Tons of books out there to teach you how to help improve yourself. And a lot of times people will talk bad about self-help books. Oh, self-help books this, self-help books that. Well, if you're not trying to help yourself, then what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Okay. And I get it. So I'm a person of strong faith. I'm a person of very strong faith. I hold to some Christian beliefs, or not some, I hold to Christian beliefs. And there's this whole idea as to, God will help you. God's going to help you do it. And so, yeah, well, of course God's going to help you do it, but God has also empowered you with the gifts and the skills necessary to help yourself as well, right? I'm not saying you're going to save yourself salvation and you're going to be able to do anything and all this stuff by yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we're all responsible for helping ourselves get to the next step. So yes, help yourself. And one of the greatest ways you can do that is by going out and picking up a book. It's going to teach you how to do things. Right now, sitting next to me, I've got a book here by John Maxwell. It's called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Great book, right? My bookshelf behind me, I've got tons of books right here that are similar books in terms of, hey, Dale, this is how you can become a better person. So read books like that and they will teach you how to be a disciplined person. They will show you how to be a disciplined person. It is essential. That's one of the best things I've done. And, this weekend, I mentioned that one of the Premedical students at AAMC said, they came up to me afterwards and said, hey, Dr. Dale, what you said was so powerful, this and all that. But how do I actually have the time to read these books? I'm a pre-medical student. How do I have the time? And let me throw this caveat in there too. So here's the deal. Pre-meds are always saying how you're busy. I get it. You're busy, but pre-meds will say, oh, I'm so busy. I can't do this. I can't do that. Let me tell you this. Your time as a pre-med, you have way more time as a pre-med than you're going to have in the future. Trust me. So I understand you're busy, but also understand that that's relative. So when people come to me and say, Dr. Dale, I'm so busy, I understand you're busy and I get it. But in my head, I'm thinking you're probably not working as much as I am. You probably don't have 3 kids. You might, but most of you guys don't have 3 kids. You probably don't have these companies on the side. Probably not writing books. Probably not doing all these things, right? So when you're saying you're busy, you have to understand that it's a relative thing, and you've got to grind it out. You've got to get rid of that mentality of thinking I'm too busy. Get out of that mentality. I'm trying to tell you, it will do you great things in the future if you can get out of this mindset of telling people you're too busy, right? When opportunity comes, it's not I'm too busy. It's how can I help? Assuming it's a good opportunity for you, okay? So I get calls from people, because people know, I do pre-med start, they know I do black men and white coats, diverse medicine mentoring, write books, all these things. So I get calls from people, and people will say, hey, I'd like to meet with you. I want to do this. I want to do that. And not just students, right? So, I have a mayoral candidate come to have dinner with me next week, right? So it's like notable people, will get these calls and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to say, oh no, I'm too busy to meet with you. I'm going to say, no, I'm going to be there. And I find a way to make it happen. So as a pre-medical students, find a way to twist your mindset instead of always thinking you're too busy. Because honestly, you're probably not too busy. It might deal more with how do you manage yourself. I don't want to say time management because you cannot manage time. Nobody except for God can manage time. It's self-management. How do you manage yourself to best utilize the time that you've been given? Okay. So figure that out, but don't get into this mindset of telling yourself you're too busy, because that's going to trap you. It's going to eventually put a ceiling on how far you can escalate things. Okay. You're not too busy. We all have the same amount. We all have 24 hours in a day. You just need to figure out what to cut off and prioritize. It's not you're too busy. It's just not my priority. Okay. So anyways, that was a long diatribe I went on for the simple fact of telling you you're not too busy to find a good book to read. Okay. And anyways, here's the key that I told that young lady. I told her the key to getting these books read is to do audiobooks. Audiobooks. I go through tons of audiobooks. I listen to them on my way to work. Sometimes I listen to them when I'm getting ready in the morning or when exercising. Do audiobooks. I listen to them at 2-speed, 2x speed. So I crank through them. And it's great stuff. It's like having your own personal coach. It's like having somebody there who's going to help you elevate your game to the next level. So do audiobooks, and tons of them will help you become a more disciplined person, right? It's essential. Okay, kind of going back to focus here a little bit more on discipline. So, I talk about discipline being this idea of doing the right things with the right people at the right time. Doing the right things with the right people at the right time. If you can figure that out, how do I do the right things? How do I do it with the right people? And when do I do it? How do I do it at the right time? If you can do that consistently, you being disciplined, that's going to open up so many doors for you in life. And it becomes a pattern. It becomes a habit. So after a while, it's not as if you have to think about doing these things up front initially. Okay, I got to force myself to get up 7 a.m., go study. And, people talk about sometimes it takes 3 weeks to turn something into a habit. So here's the deal. You want to turn your disciplines into habits. It's a discipline when you're learning how to do it. I'm disciplined. I'm learning how to wake up early every morning. I'm disciplining myself. I'm making sure I do it. I'm staying on top of myself. I'm being accountable. I want to be reliable to myself. Right? So I'm being disciplined. All of a sudden, day 21 comes around. Oh, it's a habit now. I didn't have to think about that. I just woke up because I know that's what I do. That's just part of me. It's become a habit. That's the deal. I think it's in How to Raise a Doctor. I think that's where I talk about it. This whole idea of turning this discipline into a habit. After a while, you want it to become just part of who you are, part of what you do. Then you don't have to think about it anymore. Up front, when something's not what you normally do, when you're not accustomed to something, you're going to be grinding out and forcing yourself to do it. And it's going to be unpleasant. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging, right? Studying for the MCAT. You're not going to want to wake up every day. You're not going to want to put that many hours of studying in. But after you've done it for, I keep on saying 21 days because that's the number some people say. But after you've done it for X amount of days, let's just stick with 21 days. All of a sudden, boom, it's a habit. It's just what I do. It's just part of who I am now. I don't have to think about it. It's just part of who I am, right? It's kind of like sometimes when people are dieting to lose weight and just cutting back on their calories. And for the first few weeks, oh my goodness, I can't tolerate just 1,500 calories a day. Oh, it's killing me. But after a couple of weeks, you don't even notice it. You're not even hungry anymore, right? Because you were disciplined for the first few weeks and all of a sudden just became part of who you are. That's just how many calories you eat. Same thing with everything discipline. And for the pre-med, a lot of that's going to focus on studying. Okay. And, the other part of discipline is things like networking. You have to be disciplined in terms of managing relationships, keeping relationships. I think it was. Now, let me think about this. Was this on PreMed Star or at the AAMC? I don't remember. Either somebody sent me a message on PreMed Star or it was at the AAMC where somebody was telling me, Dr. Dale, I haven't been so good about maintaining relationships over the years with professors and mentors and things of that sort. What am I going to do for a rec letter? Part of that is discipline. So as a pre-medical student, you know you're going to need a rec letter. You know that now. You know you're going to need rec letters for med school. So why wait till the end? Be disciplined about it now. Networking is part of discipline. Certain people that I see, like my buddy James Aquaman, pre-medical student. I saw him at the conference this week. Like, I see him everywhere I go at all these conferences, right? And if I'm going to look out for somebody, I'm going to look out for somebody like him because I know he's working hard to get into the field of medicine. I see him at all these conferences. He's on PreMed Star. We message back and forth. We talk. He's helped me do something with Black men in white coats. So, and he's disciplined. He's smart about this. A lot of these pre-medical students, when I'm seeing you guys at these conferences, they're asking me for my card, which is great. You should keep on doing that. But if I ask you for your card, you should have it, right? I'll tell you, we're going to help you guys out too on PreMed Star. In the near future, we're going to make it so your profile links can be open, so you can just send your link to people so people can see your pre-medical profile, and that's going to help you tremendously. That's coming soon. But the point being is you need to have an easy way for other people to get to know who you are, find out information about you, contact you. Man, I saw James. I introduced him to somebody who does recruitment at a medical school, one of my good friends. I said, hey, James, this is my friend. His name is Rob Clay. He's actually on PreMed Star as well from University of Missouri. I said, James, this is Rob. Rob, this is James. Hey, James is going to be a rock star. He's going to be a doctor. You need to get to know him. Hey, James, Rob is a great guy. He's a recruiter. He helps me out a lot. And then, they talk for a quick second, and James reaches into his pocket, brings out his card and says, hey, Rob, here's my card. I'd love to follow up with you. He didn't just figure that out. That's discipline. He did it so smooth, it was natural. So, and from seeing him at other conferences too, I know he's just disciplined about networking with people. So be disciplined in your studies. Be disciplined about networking with people. Be disciplined in your diet. Be disciplined in your exercise. Be disciplined in your faith. Be disciplined in all these things. It starts off as hard work. You're disciplined. You're grinding it out. You're trying to figure it out. And all of a sudden, one day, it's just part of who you are, and it's a habit. Reaching into your pocket to hand out your card is a habit. Sending a follow-up email to people you meet in conferences, it's a habit. Waking up to study at 7 and pre-reading for class, taking notes in class, sitting in front of class. Everything in this book, we've got 52 weeks of solid mentorship in this PreMed Monday books. Everything in this book starts off as discipline, but then it will turn into a habit. All right. So I'm telling you guys, please, please, please understand that it's going to be hard for a few weeks. It's going to be tough. But if you do it, if you stick with it, then that discipline will turn into a habit. You're not even going to have to think about it anymore. It's just going to be part of who you are. You know, I read this quote last week, but I'm going to read it again because I think it's such a great quote. And it's by, again, John Wooden. He is the legendary basketball coach at UCLA. Some people say he's one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport, period. And most of the greats will talk about him. They'll look up to him. But he said, things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. So the point there being is, be an active part of your life. Go out there and don't just let life happen to you. You be a part of shaping your own life and shaping other people's lives to make it better, right? Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. All right. Don't just sit back and take it. Be an active part of it. All right. Be disciplined in learning how to do that. It's going to take you to great places in life. Okay. So my challenge to you this week is review your study schedule and evaluate how disciplined you've been in adhering to it. All right. So, and if you have the hard copy book, PreMed Mondays, this is page 75. So my challenge to you this week is to review your study schedule and evaluate how disciplined you've been in adhering to it. So first of all, do you have a study schedule? Okay. Make sure you have one, and then be disciplined in sticking with it, because that discipline will turn into a habit. All right, guys. So next week, we are going to be talking about 5 ways to use office hours wisely. You do not want to miss next week, because this is something that will help you form great relationships, get great grades. All sorts of good stuff come from using office hours wisely. I'm really excited right now. If you guys can see me, I'm throwing my hands all up in my office as I'm recording this. And because I'm excited, because that's how important office hours are. And the secret here is a lot of pre-medical students don't use office hours at all. So you have time. Take advantage of that free time. When you go in there, it's barely going to be anybody in there. You have time. Take advantage of these office hours. It can make all the difference in your success. All right. All the difference in your success. All right, family. So thanks for listening. Of course, you have any questions, you know I'm always here for you guys. PreMed Star, send me a message. My goal is to help you reach your goals. Want to make sure you guys are successful. Let me know what you think about the website. Shoot me a message, post on the site. Just let us know what you think. We put a lot of effort into this for you guys, and we want to make sure that it is meeting your needs. And of course, please do like this podcast, share this podcast, subscribe to this podcast. Send us to your PreMed club. Make sure that you're be that person in your PreMed club who gets this out to other people to help people. Right? When you do people favors like that, favors will come back to you. So be that person in your PreMed club that says, "Hey guys, I found a great podcast. I want to make sure you guys know about it," and share it. And that will make them happy, because you're coming into a new great resource, and it'll give you some kudos points with them. All right. So please do share, subscribe, like. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. PreMedStar.com. Love you guys, and I will see you online.